Okay, so apparently my video had stopped and I got back on, so I didn't do too much after the video stopped. Where we were at, we were going to go back to, we finished this, we finished the floating, well, not quite. This is where we stopped. So I'm so sorry about that. So I'm going to go back to floating the edge here and here with the Payne's gray. It's a little dark. I'm going to take my mop brush and soften that up. And I'm going to along the cookie here and over here. Okay, and just soften it up. Okay. So now, you can see that's still good. Okay. So now we're gonna transfer our little Santa arms on the cookie here. And I use the gray graphite or black. So I'm gonna place this like that. A little off on the cookie, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to place my paper. I'm going to use a little stylus here, fine tip. So trace this on. Okay. And I painted the little mittens and the arms. Well, the arms are black and the mittens are forest green. So I use my little round brush here. So I'm going to do the arms with lamp black. And I know the top part is already black. Okay, I'm going to do the other one. We can always add hair line on top of the black to go over the arms there. Okay, and my little leg here. Okay, so the mitts are forest green. Okay, I'll load this up. Might have to add a couple coats to the mitts. Okay, it's a little too square. The thumb. So actually that's not bad for one coat of green. Okay. So while that mitt dries, I'm going to add a little float to the sock here, and I use Payne's gray for that. Okay, so I just floated the top part. Okay, and soften it up. Okay, so let me dry my little mitt and arms. Okay. So I added a little highlight of mistletoe on the inside edges of my mitt. I'm just going to add a little fresh puddle. Okay. A little mistletoe. Okay, so I did like a little C-stroke along the edge. I'm going to add just a little bit more here. Oops. Oh, I made a mess. Okay. There. We'll let that dry. Okay, I'm going to add a little highlight on the top of the arms and the little left side of the leg, just to show that because it's black on black, I just want to show that he does have an arm. So let's add a little strip of white. So just fine. Get to the end here. Okay, I'm just going to soften it up. Oops, I need a little bit more white on here. And down the left side here. Okay. Now I'm going to re-add a little couple strokes on his arm with the warm white. Just a little bit more here. Like I said, if you want to go back and add a little bit brighter, you can. Okay, so we have some pine needles here. And I always like doing that by pulling towards me. So I have it like this. And the first color that I used was forest green. And I clean my brush after each layer. So I'm going to pick up some extender. Okay, so I have my forest green. I want to water this down. So I'm going to put more extender in this. Okay, so I started along the candy cane, this one here. So I start with long strokes. Okay, just we're gonna have to load a little bit more. Now you can go on to the candy cane. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little more inky. Now the green one you probably won't see as much till we actually get the other colors on. Okay, and you can put some on the cookie as well. Okay, you can add some straight. I don't know if you can see that okay. So again, I want to put some on the cookie. Okay, so I'm going to clean it. I'm going to go with the mistletoe. So loading again, making it really inky. Okay, and I'm going to start here at the end. I can see just a little bit here. Might have to dry it so that I can add my third color. Okay, so while that dries, let's go on to doing the one in between here with the forest green. Okay, so these are just like little background colors for it for now. So I start in between them, add some straight, some curves to it. Okay. And pick up some mistletoe. Okay. Let's dry that up so that we can add some celery shoot and a little bit of warm white on that. Okay. So again, I think I'm going to add a fresh puddle. So I'm going to use celery shoot. Okay, celery shoot and some warm white. I'm going to ink this up. Okay, so I'm going to start from the edge here. Do some long ones. You can do some short ones. Really inky. Really add some curves to it. It's a little harder when it's on the slate. Just keep. Okay, so I got my first one here. I'm going to add some to this one here. Okay, and I have another pine needle towards like the cookie right here. So I'm going to restart with the forest green, and it's not as big as the other one. So I can go from here. Okay, add some straight. And I'm going to pick up some mistletoe. Okay, and clean my brush. I'm going to pick up some celery shoot. And it's nice when it goes on top of the other pine needle. It's really makes it fuller. There. Okay, you can add as many as you want. You can always add another one there if you wanted to. So now I just want to add just a little bit of white. Okay, just like very little. I don't want a whole lot. I just add a little bit more brightness in there. Over here. Oops, that one was really dark. It's more like a puddle. Okay. So we got everything except for dots or eyes. And so now I'm going to dry that because we can move on to our stenciling. It's okay. Okay, so for my Jolly Santa word here, okay, I used a stencil, and this is from Laura Speltz, and it's called Christmas Curly Words. So there's like any words that Kris Kringle, Santa, you can use whatever words you want. I think they're really cute. I used Jolly Santa. So I find I went down just a little too much, so I'm going to go up a little bit more. So I'm going to just bring it up just a tad. Okay, so that it doesn't move, I'm going to add some painter's tape here. Okay, I'm going to place that, make sure this is straight. I'm going to add some here. Okay, and I'm going to use the Stencil Pro brush, and it is a 3/8, and we're going to use warm white. So you use these brushes dry. So I'm going to pick up some warm white. Okay, mix it on my palette here. Okay, and then I'm going to dry it on my brush. If you can see here, I'm going to dry it on my brush so it's almost dry. Okay, and I'm going to dry brush over the Santa, the word Santa, go in different little directions. Okay. So now I want to dry this and do another coat. Okay, it doesn't take long to dry because it's like very little paint. Let me dry this off. Okay, and again, go in circular motions, changing directions. Okay, it doesn't have to be solid. So there's my Santa, nice and crisp. Take this off. I'm going to put the word jolly about here. Okay, oops, need my tape here. Okay. And the same thing, I'm going to add some white paint. I'm going to dry my brush, as much paint as I can. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm not adding too much pressure. Okay, dry this up. Okay, so I'm going to wipe as much as I can off my brush. I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to use the extra sheen ruby again, and we're going to add it to our words. And because it's like a it's almost transparent. So what I did was I stippled it this time so that it's nice and thick on top of the white. Okay, so let me just add some to my palette, a fresh puddle. I'm going to pick some up, okay, and so that I can leave some on my paper towel, all I did was I dabbed some on the paper towel so that I don't get too much of a blob. So I stippled on top of my words here, okay. So just holding your brush up, straight up, I stippled the words. Okay, and lift this up. And it's okay if you see a little bit of white in the background. I thought it was really cool that I had some white showing on the lines. Okay, so I need to dry this so I can put Santa back down. And it doesn't take that long to dry because it's not very thick. Okay, let's do Santa. Okay, I'm gonna put tape here. Okay, and oops, there we go. Okay, I'm going to pick up some ruby again and just dab it a little bit on your paper towel and stipple onto the words. Go up and down. Oops. I just hold this in place a little tighter so that you don't get blobs on the other side. Okay, and I think I got it covered. Just lift it up slowly, straight up. Oh, I just love it. Okay, and you always got to make sure you wash your stencils as soon as you're done. So just put that aside just for 1 second. So until I lost my baby wipes. So I'm gonna clean it with baby wipe until I'm able to clean it with soap and water. Okay, so again, you just be careful about your letters. Okay. Just till I can wash it later. Alrighty. So now, where's my little piece here? Okay, so again, before I start my little dots, I want to add a little bit of detail outline, and I used some jelly. They're jelly rolls, and they're different sizes. There's 5, 8, and 10. So I used a 5, but I can go a little bit wider. So I got a number 10 here. Okay, so what I did was I added some little highlights here. Oh, that's a lot nicer. So add some here. Okay, down here. Oh, I forgot to dry brush my candy canes. I just realized that. I dry brushed the center of my candy canes to add some highlights. Let's do that before I forget. So I used the number 6 decorator dry brush. I'm going to pick up some white and use that dry. I'm going to wipe it as much as I can on my paper towel. Don't forget to take some off the sides here. And I went all along the edge with some white. So go back and forth down the center here. If you find you don't have enough, add some more, because it's always best to go light than dark. Okay, so go back and forth. And here you're going to go into like a C stroke, because it's round. So there's my highlight. It's very faint, but it's there. Okay. Okay. And you realize, because I was adding my white highlights on here. So you can add some to the little arm. And I added some on the inside of the mid here. You can add dots. And then I added some on the candy cane. And down the center. Okay, and you can also add some on the words if you wanted to on the outside. Some dots on the edge here. If you want bigger dots, put the pen straight out. There. I think that's it for my highlights. Okay, so now let's add our dots, okay? So the dots that I used are for the cookie and for the little berries. I added some ruby, emerald, and that white mix, the pearlizing medium with the white, I use that as well. So using your stylus, they have some different size here, and I used the one with the biggest little ball on it. So I use this one, okay, for my stylus. So I have emerald, computer, oops. Okay. Okay, so we can start with the red. So I just dabbed different little sections, loaded up often so that you have the same size of dots. Okay, and then add some for your berries on your pine needles. Okay, or your hollies. And again, make sure you always have your wrist straight up so that you don't end up putting your hands in the dots, okay? So I'm going to wipe my stylus. I'm going to pick up some green. Very pretty. And here I lost a little bit of my green when I added my varnish because it wasn't dry. Okay, wherever you want, you can add 2s, 1s, dots of 3s. Add one here, little ones. Okay, now I'm going to go into my white with the pearlizing medium in it. Okay. Oops, that one's pretty thick. Wherever you think you need it. Okay. Add some here. And for the berries, I think I'm going to add just smaller dots. So I turn my little stylus around. Okay, I like that. Okay, so my eyes, I'm going to use the same big dot there. Okay, and I'm going to put that in my black puddle here. Okay, and lightly, making sure not to touch. You know what? I think I'm going to grab a fresh puddle. I don't want a thick blob at the end, and you're not going to get a perfect circle. So let me do that again. Okay, so I'm going to go right in the center. I'm going to pick up a fresh blob and just go right beside it. Oh, those are pretty big eyes. I don't know. I don't think I like those big eyes. I think I want to wipe those. They're a little too big for my Santa. Okay, let me just wipe this off. Okay, let's do that again. Very big eyes. Okay, I'm going to go with the smaller stylus. Okay, let's do that again. Make sure it's dry. Okay, I have a smaller one. They're way better. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to take my long detail and I'm going to add little lashes, eyebrows to it. Okay, making sure I don't touch my dots. Oops, oops, oops. Can't hold my brush today. Okay. Oh, no, this is paint here. Oh. Oh no, the black doesn't like me today. I'm making a mess. For some reason I have black up there and I can't get rid of it. So I'm just going to add a couple of white little specks. Okay. So the only thing that is missing is some specks. Okay, so for that, let me just cover. I'm going to have to move that. These. Okay, it's a lot easier when it's on paper towel. I'm just going to move my piece so that I don't re-get specks on that. So I like using a fan brush when you're specking, spattering. So I have I think it's a Fandigo fan brush. So I'm going to wet it and I'm not going to take that much water out of it. So I'm going to go in my white puddle. Okay, I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to go in my white puddle, inky. Okay, so see how much paint I have on here? Lift that up. So then I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to tap the barrel. And it's going to do little spatters. Okay, you might need a little bit more. So you can put some on the cookie, you can put a little bit on the Santa. If there's somewhere that you don't want it, you can put some on the cookie there. Like say I had some on his nose. I want to take a little bit off his nose. Okay, I'm going to try and avoid the face part. Now you can add, I only added white, but you can add maybe some emerald flashy green here. Let's just add a little bit of that and see what it does. You probably can't see it that much. Okay. You can add whatever color you want. Okay. So then that is done for that. And then you just got to add little white dots on the eye. Okay. So what you do is we take the stylus there, you pick up a little bit of white and just dot the top corner. And for some reason I have a little speck right on that black one, so I don't need to add one on there. So there you have your piece. Okay, I'm done with that one and I think it turned up really, really good. So for the wood part here, okay, what I did is I'm just going to move that for now. So what I did is I stenciled some snowflakes all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to move this. Okay, so you don't have to do the snowflakes, but I thought it just added a little bit more Christmas touch to it. So the snowflake stencil that I used was from Studio 12, and it is Snowflakes Mini Pattern Stencil. It's a 4x6. Okay, and I used my little 1/4" stencil pro brush. Okay, and I used the ruby, emerald, and the pearl, no, pewter. That's another metallic extreme sheen from Deco Art. So I'm going to add those 3 colors to my palette. Okay, and I stippled these colors on again because it's a little transparent to be doing dry brushing. Okay, so I'm going to take a clean paper towel. So I'm going to load with Ruby. Okay, I have some on. I'm just going to dab lightly. I don't want to take all my paint off. So just turn your stencil to whichever snowflake you want to use. Oops, I moved it. And just stipple onto it. Get those little dots too. Okay, there's one snowflake. So you can take whatever snowflakes you want. Okay, make sure you don't have too much paint on your brush because you're going to just end up having blobs. Okay, so there you have some snowflakes. And then what I did was I picked some, I made sure they were off the edges. So they're not all lined up. Okay. I'll move this a little bit. Some more snowflakes here. Hold on to it, your stencil tight. Okay, and a little bit more over here. And I use different shapes just to change it up. Some big ones, little ones. Oops. Just hold on to it. I moved this one. Okay, you can move it anywhere you want. Then I'm going to just wipe it off a little bit because I only have the one size. I'm going to pick up some emerald. Okay. Again, load my brush, dab it on the paper towel, and I picked up pewter instead of emerald, so I'll go with the pewter first. It's like a pretty, I don't know, like a blue gray. Okay, let's move some here. And you can always go on top of the other snowflake. It's no big deal. It's always best to go light, add some paint if you need to as you go. Okay, a little bit here. You get those little dots too. It's not just snowflakes. There's dots in between snowflakes. Okay, and we'll add a little bit here. Right here. Okay, and over here, and then we can move on to the green one. So again, you're just pouncing up and down, up and down. Okay, so now I'm just gonna move this aside. I hope you can see really good because it's pretty long. So now I'm gonna pick up, I'm gonna wipe as much pewter as I can onto my paper towel. And I'm gonna pick up some emerald. Okay. And then I'll just move this down. We can start from here. So we can add a little bit more green on here. If you feel like you have to go back with another color, then just go back with the, the color that you want. If you want to add more color, different ones, DecoArt has different, some other extra sheen. There's gold, silver. So here I went on top a little red, which is fine. Okay, some green here. And this will take a while to dry. Okay, I'll move this down so that you can see. Oops. Okay, and I have a little bit more like right there, and then I think I'm good. So a little big one there. One green one here. Okay, so there I have my little tray. Make sure you wash your stencil after you're done. Okay, so there you have your little tray. I have my little plaque. And what I'm going to do so that it doesn't fall out all the time, I'm going to glue the back to the board. So that way if somebody picks it up, then, it's not going to fall out. And for the varnish that I used, it's a glitter. If you can see, there's glitter on there. You don't have to use the glitter, but if you do, it's called DecoArt Clear Galaxy Varnish. So you have different little thick specks in there, very pretty. If you don't want to use that, you can use the plain Clear matte varnish. Okay, and I don't have it with me, but I was going to put a jute string at the end just to add a little bit of a touch to it. And really let that dry before you put your varnish on. I really hope you enjoyed this little video lesson, and I look forward to making more, and thanks for joining.